Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Bold and the Beautiful Monday, December 8th update. Steffy and Brooke's betrayal hurts Eric. Ridge's lies called out. The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, spoilers update for Monday, December 8th. Hints that Steffy Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and Brooke Logan Forrester's Catherine Kelly Lang. Betrayal will hurt Eric Forrester, John McCook. Ridge Forrester's Torsten K. Lies will also get called out. So let's talk about all the explosive strife at Forrester Creations. It was hurtful and humiliating when Eric got blindsided by that retirement party. That's not the kind of thing you just spring on someone who's been clear about his desire not to walk away from family business. Nevertheless, Eric's being forced to listen to his patronizing loved ones frame this as a victory lap. Everyone's acting like Eric deserves to rest after a job well done, but he thinks he's got a lot more to contribute. Of course, there'll be more worries on Monday's B&B episode about Eric's health. Steffy may pipe up about how heartbreaking it was when they almost lost Eric and beg him to understand that they want to protect his recovery. Brooke will back Ridge up as well, so Eric will think they're traitors who want to make choices for him. Donna Logan Forrester, Jennifer Garais, will hopefully have Eric's back, and Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, is on Eric's side in all this too. However, Eric will mostly just feel betrayed by the people he loves most and will become increasingly irate as this confrontation heats up. Eric has previously declared that he won't be put out to pasture and will still feel that way on Monday's show, so he'll make a similar comment as he stands against Ridge's retirement demand. Although Eric won't think Ridge ever listens to what he wants, Ridge will disagree with that. Eric will call Ridge out for lying since, if he truly listened, he would have seen how important this was to his dad. Eric is clearly still talented and feels confident he can rise to this challenge. Despite all the concerns about the job being too stressful, Eric may argue that his uncooperative family members are the real problem. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Eric may have to make some updates to his plans and could potentially even go to work somewhere else. So stick with us for any jaw-dropping news that might be brewing. Monday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful delivered the kind of emotional blowout that only the Forrester family can produce. What began as a tense morning quickly spiraled into a day of exposed lies, long-buried resentments, and a heartbreak that left Eric questioning the very foundations of loyalty within his own home. While Ridge tried desperately to maintain control of the unraveling situation, the truth finally caught up to him, and the fallout proved far more explosive than he ever anticipated. The episode opened with Eric sitting quietly in the Forrester study, surrounded by framed sketches spanning his decades-long career. The legacy he built, once a source of pride and comfort, felt suddenly unstable. For the first time in a long while, he didn't feel like the patriarch of the family, but instead like a man blindsided by the people he trusted most. His health issues had already been weighing heavily on him, but the emotional turbulence of the past week carved a deeper wound. Steffy entered first, her usual confidence dimmed by guilt. She attempted to tread lightly, but Eric could sense the tension buzzing off her. He asked her a simple question, one that carried the weight of a father and grandfather who sensed betrayal brewing just beneath the surface. Why had no one told him the full truth about Ridge's motivations, about the schemes behind the scenes, and about Brooke's involvement in shielding Ridge from blame? Steffy tried to deflect. She said she didn't want to upset him further, that they were only trying to protect him. But Eric saw that for the half-truth it was. He had lived long enough to recognize when someone was dancing around a confession. As Eric pressed harder, Steffy's composure cracked. She admitted she withheld certain details about the fashion showdown results and about Ridge's ongoing manipulations. She confessed that she feared the strain would worsen Eric's condition. Her voice shook with remorse as she told him she never intended to betray him. But intention didn't matter, impact did. And the impact was severe. Eric listened in silence, and it was his silence that wounded Steffy most. She stepped out when Brooke walked in, But the look she exchanged with her grandfather made it painfully clear the damage had been done. Brooke arrived believing she could soothe Eric the way she always had, with soft assurances, comforting words, and earnest eyes. But this time he wasn't so easily swayed. He knew she and Ridge had been keeping secrets, and this time those secrets had crossed into territory that threatened his trust. Brooke insisted she had only supported Ridge because she believed he was doing what was best for Eric. She claimed she had no idea her involvement would make Eric feel manipulated or pushed aside. She said she had only tried to keep peace in a family already stretched thin. Eric didn't buy it. He pointed out that Brooke had always protected Ridge, even when it meant ignoring warning signs. He demanded she look him in the eyes and say she truly believed hiding the truth was the right call. Brooke faltered. The guilt flashed across her face before she could stop it. As the truth seeped out, Eric's expression hardened. He felt betrayed, not only as a designer being quietly retired from his own company, but as a father and trusted friend. The realization that Brooke and Steffy had participated in maintaining Ridge's facade was more painful than any diagnosis he'd been given. It wasn't just one person lying to him. It was people he considered the pillars of his emotional support. While Eric was confronting Brooke, Ridge entered the room with the unfortunate timing of a man walking into his own reckoning. He attempted to interrupt, insisting they all needed calm reasoning rather than accusations. But Eric had reached his limit. The confrontation that followed was one of the most emotionally intense the two men have had in years. Ridge tried to defend his choices, explaining that he was only trying to protect Eric, that he couldn't bear to sit back and watch his father's health deteriorate under stress. He insisted that the fashion showdown had been rigged only because he wanted Eric to step away from the business with dignity, not defeat. But Eric wasn't moved. He accused Ridge of crossing the line between concern and control. He felt Ridge had taken away his agency, his voice, and his ability to determine his own legacy. What hurt even more was the realization that others had silently enabled Ridge. Ridge's explanations quickly turned into excuses, and Eric called him out forcefully. This wasn't about love, he said. This was about Ridge trying to reshape Eric's story without permission. It was about Ridge trying to rewrite the end of his father's career in a way that best suited Ridge's own image. And the fact that Brooke and Steffy went along with it cut Eric deeply. Ridge fired back, insisting he did what any son would. But the more he justified, the more obvious it became that he was grappling with his own guilt. The lie that covered the fashion challenge results, the pressure he put on everyone to keep Eric in the dark.